What topic should I make my community about? I'll answer that question here in this video. Hi, my name is Nathan Collier. I have been running online communities for 10 years. This is video number 2 in my series of lessons just about sharing some things that I've learned over the course of 10 years running online communities. I started building communities over on Facebook groups. Now I'm beginning to build a new one over here on Skool, just like a lot of other people are. So hopefully this will be the kind of thing that will help you. A question that I see a lot is, I'd really like to start an online community, but I don't know what the topic should be. I don't know what to make the focus of the community. And so I want to give you 3 ways to choose a topic. When I see people talk about this, I usually see 2, but not the third one. And so let me give you the 2 that everybody talk about first, which is if you are a professional of any kind, then you can start a community about your profession. So I do marketing. And so my community is called Modern Marketing Labs. It's a really straightforward way to do things, right? So I can share all of my experiences, what I work on every day, and then use that as the core of the kinds of things we talk about in the community. So profession is number 1. Number 2 is hobby. This is the one that everybody sort of talks about a lot. There are communities out there about, and I'll show you some examples here in a minute, about pickleball and about calligraphy and photography and reading clubs. Anything you're into can be built into a community as long as there are other people in the world who share that interest as you. And then the third one, this is the one that I really don't see anywhere, which is you might be a professional inside of a company and your boss might have come to you and said, we need to start a community. And that very likely is going to be a topic that is a topic of interest to your target audience, but not to you personally. I've always found it ironic that the playbooks that are written for audience building and brand awareness and specifically content marketing, they're almost all written by marketers teaching marketing to marketing people. And what that leads to is a world in which it doesn't really work as well when you join a company and all of a sudden you have to create marketing for a group of people that's not marketers. I talked to a company recently that it was HR equipment, right, or HR software. So HR software is for HR professionals. And I don't have a personal interest in HR or the types of things that are talked about by people who are in the people departments of companies. But my target audience in that situation would very much care about those kinds of things. And so the idea that you can just pick your profession or your hobby in that situation, that isn't going to work. You're not going to be able to use your own topic of interest for a community targeting people who you're trying to build something for, where you're not yourself an expert or a subject matter expert in that area. The strategy is a little different there in that you can still create a community, but you have to take like the journalist's perspective, right? You have to create content by interviewing experts from that area and then bringing that content to the community. You're a curator of information in that world rather than yourself a subject matter expert speaking from your own expertise. So I just wanted to add that one to the mix because I don't see that one talked about very much. And I think especially for people who are working either inside of companies or working with clients, when the conversation of how do I build an audience or how to start a community, when that comes up in that context, this one is the only one. And I would say that's 90% of the time when we marketing people have to do things is we're trying to market to people who are care about things where we are ourselves not a member of the target audience. So I'll give you some examples. Modern Marketing Labs is my new Skool community. The Content Marketing Lounge is the Facebook group that I started 10 years ago. These are both examples of I picked my profession. And then the Alteryx community Alteryx is a data analytics platform. They have a very well sort of organized community that they have on their website. HubSpot has another one that's a really large community. Those are both user group communities. So I may not personally care about data analytics, but if I work inside of Alteryx or if I'm working with Alteryx on their community projects, then the type of community that I'm going to create for that situation needs to be attractive to the users of that platform, not just to people like me. So that's a situation where that third one, right, a topic of interest to your target audience is really the way. And then just some other ones, I think, AI Automation Hub is one I'm a part of on Skool. That one is, an example of someone who picked their profession. So that's Lee Motley. He runs an AI automation agency. And so he's teaching other people to kind of build agencies just like him. The Head of Scent is one that was, I think this is a blend of a hobby plus a business. Calligraphy School, Pickleball School. These are things that are more in the category of things that people have personal interests in rather than their professional interests, right? So the members of these 3 specifically are unlikely to be professionals, although they might be. But most of the people in these three are people who they care about sense, or they care about calligraphy, or they care about pickleball, kind of on a personal level, more like a hobby. And so it may be a profession for the people running those, but the members of those audiences tend to be people who have those as a hobby. So that's the three ways that you can build an audience of people using a community. And if you didn't get a chance to hear the video from yesterday where I talked about the difference between an audience and a community, an audience is a group of people who consume your content, and a community is a group of people who organize around shared activities. And so that's the difference. I love communities. That's what I love. And I'm excited to be back running one again. So just to show you things I built today, I'll flip over to my community here. I recorded a new video this morning. And so this is sort of a V1, and I just kept it really simple. Click it. Just sort of me talking to the camera, giving people an example of what we're going to do here in Modern Marketing Labs. I got a good description here now where people can sort of have a sense of what we do in the community. So in tomorrow's video, I'm going to talk about the choice to make this a paid community. So I've chosen to make it a $19 a month community as a starting price. I don't know what the price will be when you watch this, but that's different than the communities that I've created in the past, which have been free communities. And I want to talk about why I did that. And also I'm doing something I haven't seen anybody else do either, which is I have this thing called free if you need it to be. So if you want to hear all about that, then make sure you subscribe to this channel because I'll be talking about that in tomorrow's video. That's it for today. Happy community building. I will see you again tomorrow.